And this thing is rolling.
And welcome to another special episode of the Comics Brew and Chew podcast, where I don't think we're doing a book this month because kind of fuck it. But there's a lot going on. Movies coming out, other
What
movies
movie?
coming out, TV shows coming out. Local grocery store went on strike, so now there's nothing but work to be done at our job. So, yeah, we're going to be doing a special Marvel Phase 1 discussion podcast because next week they're coming out with that,
Not next
that
week.
en-
We'll go 2 weeks from now.
no, it's next week. I'm
Oh,
on,
man.
A week from
Friday.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
While I'm on vacation.
I don't know.
Not ready.
Ender's Game is coming out. It's based off the
Ender's
popular
Game.
book.
With Harrison Ford?
Yeah. No, it's the Avengers
We're
Endgame.
talking about a successful franchise, not a franchise killer.
But what do you mean? It's franchise killer. They didn't make a second one. It's not a franchise.
I mean,
Ender's Game is a franchise.
books-
There's like
it's-
70 million, but
It's a
Yeah.
book series, but it's
They
not a
had
movie
set up a
franchise.
sequel in the movie.
Ooh.
and
They-
he might just kill all of us. So
Yeah.
A lot of movies do that.
It's a fan base killer.
But yeah, we will be talking about Marvel's The Avengers Endgame. So in the background, we have trailers playing from the different movies. It's all phases, but we're going to
Yeah.
talk about phase one.
Right now, the trailers were the first Iron Man 1 trailer.
yep.
Still one of like the top 5 best movies they've come out with.
nostalgia.
It's so good, man. I watched it last week, and God, I love it.
Yeah, it's just for some clarity and reference. Everybody in this room has done a binge rewatch of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, except for me.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of mine. I'm
So
at Guardians
I haven't
right
even
now.
started because I don't even own half the movies, nor do I have the time to get into it.
I'm very far behind. I took one day off, and I was like, I started a day ahead of them. So, I'll be good if I take a day off, and then it turned into like 3 days off, and now I'm like 4 movies behind, I think.
Because like I've done nothing for the last week but go to work, go home, go back to work,
And watch Game of Thrones.
and go watch Game of Thrones. It's bad. It's my day off today. I just came from work. So, and because I was kind of running late, I didn't pick up any snacks, so we will be not munching.
I mean, I can go grab something.
I mean, no, just because usually I say, "Hey, we're eating shit."
I'll go grab something. I'll be right back.
There would have been no crackling.
There would have been no crackling. That's all we're saying. But to drink, we have Down East. Still yours.
So good.
Aloha Friday. I think we talked about it on the last podcast. Cider. I already drank mine 2 days ago when I bought them. So I am having Narragansett Dell's lemonade shandy, and we also have Leinenkugel summer shandy on hand. It's currently noon, so that's how this is going. But yeah, so starting with the movie that started it all that we can't talk about until John gets back, because he will literally murder everybody.
I don't want to get murdered.
I mean, I'd love to. It means I don't have to work. Hey, look, John's back.
I pulled some goodies from my private stock.
Oh boy. Game of Thrones
That's your inheritance, John. What are you doing?
I still have 2 more packs.
Oh, good. It's like dipping into your trust fund already.
Yeah,
So, John, we decided to vamp for a moment.
Okay.
Oh, look, a cat.
She wants some more of this, huh?
Or beer. Because I didn't think it would be right to start talking about probably your favorite franchise within the franchise.
Yes, Iron Man is my favorite franchise within the franchise.
Within the franchise.
I love Iron Man. I didn't really like Cap till Cap 2. That's when I was like, he's not just a dork.
So I saw Iron Man in the theater. Did any of you guys?
Yes.
Yes. The only one I haven't seen in theater, the only ones I haven't seen in theater. The only one is Hulk. It's the only one I didn't see in theater.
For phase 1?
I've seen
No,
all
total.
of them.
Oh.
Total.
I've seen every from Iron Man on, all of them in the theater.
Who would have thought it would be me to be like, don't look at me, guys?
Yeah, your first was Winter
Shut
Soldier,
up.
right?
Yeah.
What a good one to start off on, though.
I think I don't know, I didn't see Iron Man 2 in theater. I didn't see Hulk in theater. I think I saw Cap in theater. The Avengers was supposed to come out on my birthday that year. That didn't fucking happen. I saw Thor in theater. I skipped going to my my sophomore semi-formal prom. And me and 2 other dudes went and saw a movie. So that was romantic as fuck.
So, when Iron Man came out, that was a year after Spider-Man 3, a year after the second Fantastic Four movie. Marvel...
Hey, you want a similar time frame? It's the year the first Transformers movie came out.
A year after. Iron Man was 2008. Spider-Man 3 was same year as Transformers.
Was it? Because I remember seeing them both back to back, like real close to each other.
Transformers was 07.
Okay.
sure?
Yeah. Because it was 07, 09, and 11 for the first three.
It might have still been in theaters.
But he
maybe.
probably can't remember Amanda's birthday.
It's easy because it's my sister's birthday.
Fuck, you're lucky.
That's cheating. You don't get to remember that. That's cheating.
But yeah,
I think I was
remember-
targeted just because of that.
So, oh man, I don't remember anything.
I remember seeing the trailers for Iron Man, and at the time, I was into Marvel mostly because of Raimi's Spider-Man movies, but I didn't know a ton about the comics. I saw the trailer and thought, this is a cool movie. I want to see this.
To be fair, with Iron Man, nobody knew a lot about the character because Iron Man's a shitty character that nobody liked in the comics.
I mean, what's funny is like, I don't know, like, one of the Marvel movies came with this insert for like a bunch of Marvel like products.
Yeah.
I think it was like for the video game. Oh no, it's Ultimate Alliance.
The first one?
I loved that game.
Ultimate Alliance 1, if you look at the heroes on the cover with the
Yeah.
most presents, it's Spider-Man, Wolverine, the Fantastic Four, and then like Daredevil.
Yeah.
It's like characters
Things that had movies up to that point.
and it's like at that point those were like the A-list Marvel heroes. And now here we are 10 years later and like Iron Man went from like some Marvel B character to
The face
leading the
of-
franchise, yeah. Spider-Man's never really gone down in popularity because he's fucking Spider-Man.
No. I mean,
Spider-
Amazing
Spider-Man-
Spider-Man tried its hardest to kill it, but...
Hawkeye?
I mean,
Did Hawkeye get a little bit of love here?
no. You see that haircut? You see his haircut?
Yes.
Gross. I had, just for reference, the Iron Man 2 trailer is now playing, and I'm seeing the War Machine suit from the first movie. My favorite, well,
Still the
first
best War Machine
yeah, best War Machine suit.
Yes.
From his first appearance in this series. I had a cardboard cutout in my room taped to my wall for the longest time of Iron Man and War Machine, back to back, because my mom got it from her store
I remember that cutout. I wanted it.
from the display. I had that in my room.
Remember that time that Terrence Howard looked at the Iron Man suit and said, "Next time, baby"? Poor
Yeah.
Terrence Howard.
He's coming back for Endgame.
Imagine.
They go so far back in time that it's Terrence Howard
All
and
right,
Edward
we're
Norton.
already screwing back to the last episode of the podcast because I listened to it a few days ago. We've had this
We
conversation.
talked about
Oh,
Terrence
did
Howard.
we?
Yes.
All right. Well, we're not repeating
No,
that.
in this order.
Okay, so
I mentioned going that far back in time, and Tom goes, "Can you imagine?"
out of Phase 1, I think the weakest film is Hulk.
Oh, thank God. Because I see what's on screen right now, and I was waiting for that.
Hulk is
Hulk is not good.
I skipped Hulk in my walkthrough just because aside from Thunderbolt Ross coming back later, it does nothing for the series as a whole.
It's all there just for that that stinger at the end where Nick Fury goes.
It's
I'd
not
like
Nick Fury. It's
Tony
Tony
Stark.
Stark.
Tony Stark. Doesn't Nick Fury walk in as well?
No.
Or is that? Am I thinking of a different movie?
Different
Oh, yeah, it's
movie.
Tony Stark. I forgot.
You see his name in the opening credits.
That's right.
I like Incredible Hulk.
But doesn't that one have the one where Stan Lee drinks the juice?
That is Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Incredible Hulk is a fun riff on like The Fugitive, or something like that. The
Yeah.
Harrison Ford film, and I mean, every time I rewatch it, it's weird seeing not Mark Ruffalo, seeing Edward Norton.
Yeah.
But I actually really enjoy the film. And the thing is with it is it doesn't have its own, real, sense
Presence,
of style
yeah.
that a lot of the later films have, but that's also kind of a thing that I'd say about a lot of Phase 1, where they're kind of finding their footing.
Yeah.
And it does feel like an important step in Marvel getting to, the point where they are now.
Yeah.
But I always include it. I always enjoy watching the film. It's weird because it is the only time a lead character has been recast. But
Same point
I
in
have
time.
fun with the film.
Car boxing was fucking amazing. Like that final fight
Yeah.
between him and Abomination.
Yeah.
Great.
That was cool. That was like that's my favorite part of the movie. The
Oh,
rest of it's
that's,
just
that's
like
everybody's favorite part of the movie.
I do
I-
like the scene at the
the
university
college.
as well.
Yeah, that's a good scene. But like
The fact that they
when Hulk's not on screen,
Yeah.
it's a snooze fest.
they introduce the leader, and he doesn't show up ever again.
Tim Blake Nelson's a great actor. I want to see him again.
Fantastic, Tom. He's in it. He was
Fantastic,
supposed
oh boy.
He's supposed to be Mole Man.
Yeah.
Or as some people know him, the Underminer.
Wrong franchise.
Wrong actor.
But yeah.
Same
I mean,
franchise.
If I had to put Phase 1 in like order from best to worst,
I'm sorry, Peggy Carter was on the screen.
My girl.
it'd probably be Iron Man 1. I don't know. Maybe Iron Man 1, Avengers, Cap, Thor, Iron Man 2, Hulk for me.
Um,
Shut up.
She disagrees.
She's like, let me tell you why you're wrong.
I still remember
There's no cats in any of those movies.
seeing the trailer because in the Incredible Hulk previews, they showed in one of the TV spots the Tony Stark bit, and that was everyone's first real inkling of the shared universe. So there was the credit scene in the first Iron Man where Fury showed up to talk to Stark, which nobody knew about. That was the only credit scene I didn't,
I
stay through
actually
the credits
saw that
for.
when I saw that because I remember going into the movie, the usher
Yep.
was like, hey everyone, there's something after the credits, just stay after and watch it. It's important.
That's
and
cool.
like you could tell he was very, very into the whole Marvel thing and excited for this, and everyone else like, yeah, whatever the fuck, like, go. There's popcorn on the floor. Go go
Yeah.
sweep that up, nerd boy. And I was like, everyone sits there and waits for it. Because I remember half the theater got up, and my dad was like, "You want to go?" I'm like, "I want to see what it is." And then there's St. Jax with an eye patch and a trench coat, being like, "I am Iron Man." I'm like, "Who is this now?" Is this like you become? And then he says Avengers Initiative. I'm like, they're like in my head, I'm like, they're like the Justice League.
Sort of, yeah.
I knew nothing about comics.
Same. But then to really hone in on the shared universe thing, in one of the TV spots for Incredible Hulk, they showed the Tony Stark bit,
yeah.
which in Incredible Hulk, it's that film's credit scene, but it plays before the credits because they hadn't really nailed the post-credit
There
thing
was supposed
yet.
to be a post credits of shooting himself, right?
No, that was in the intro. It's actually a deleted scene at the start of the film. It's on the disc where he goes to shoot himself, and before he can pull the trigger, it's all like a POV shot, and you see his hand hulk out and crush the gun.
And you can see Captain America in that.
Frozen in ice, which
What?
doesn't really mesh with what they wound up doing, so good thing they cut that, but...
How the fuck he ended up all the way up in the ice shelves of Antarctica, I don't know.
but
Antarctica
yeah,
North?
so
No, it's in the south.
Oh, okay.
No.
Arctic.
I got real excited seeing Tony Stark in that Hulk preview, and that actually, now that I think about it, The Incredible Hulk is the first film I ever went to see at the theater without my parents.
Wow. What a cherry to pop.
Mine was The Mist.
There you go. But yeah, so, and then that's, like, those two films together are what got me really hyped for the idea of the shared universe, because it's not something that's really been done in that capacity before.
And since.
And then 2009, we got nothing. The year after, so they had announced a sequel to Iron Man, but they didn't have anything else in development quite yet, so that was our first and to date only year without an MCU film.
There were simpler times.
2010
More cost-effective times.
was just one film, and we got Iron Man 2.
I mean, I know people don't like it.
I don't like it.
There's a lot going on.
I don't like it.
I think the end fight with War Machine and Iron Man versus the Hammer Drones is really dope.
Against the Hammer Drones is cool. Against Whiplash not
was
so
fine,
much.
Yeah. I loved when War Machine literally shoots one in half with his guns. That to me was like, this is so cool. But I've always really thought Iron Man had the coolest powers. I've always liked big robot suits.
There is a lot going on in Iron Man 2. It doesn't always work, but when the parts that do work, I think can be just as good as the first film.
When Tony Stark is building something, he's at his
It's
best.
really cool. I loved also all of the Howard Stark stuff. All of the history there and the video footage. That really got me. Because we had mentioned Terrence Howard. I like Don Cheadle a lot better as Rhodey than Terrence Howard. I was, that recasting really worked in the film's favor, I think. We got our introduction to Black Widow in that film.
That's right, we do. In Iron Man 2. It's
Which is
also
My favorite version of her.
Natalie?
It's always funny because everyone
Rushman,
at this
Natalie
point
Rushman.
thinks of her more as a Cap supporting character, but she actually debuted in Iron Man 2.
And then Iron Man 2 also, like, that's the point when you hit this. This is a shared universe. This is not every... Oh, for whatever reason, I put on a all Marvel Cinematic Universe halfway credits, and it started at Guardians. Weird.
Yeah, let's backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
Why, you don't want to watch Baby Groot dancing?
I mean, we'll get there. But,
Next episode.
Iron Man 2 is, like, the first one where it hits the stride of this is a shared universe.
Yep.
With, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. coming more into play, Nick Fury playing the bigger role. Iron Man finding the prototype cap shield and
Yeah.
Coulson being like, "What is that?"
Coulson geeking out.
Yeah,
Coulson's
He's
like,
like,
Iron
do,
Man
do you know what that is? That's exactly what I need.
yeah, to level his hadron collider so he can
Yeah.
make. What didn't he name that element like Howardium or something?
Starkanium.
I think I read somewhere that one of the tie-in comics had him trying to pitch it as Badassium or something.
Probably. I know he invented he invents an element, and he's like, "Look at me."
I think Iron Man 2's biggest problem was just that it was announced, right after the first one was the hit that it was,
Yeah.
and it was announced with this release date in mind.
Yeah,
and
they had to like put together.
They had to put together a movie, but also set up a whole universe with it.
Have you ever
and
seen the alternate ending fight with Whiplash?
I have, but it's been a long time.
It's like super rough. I'll see if I can actually put it on. But it's I think it would have made a better ending than the. I feel like
Iron
people would have been Iron Man. Jesus, I feel like people would have been more satisfied with this ending than they would have for the one we got, the fight with.
Yeah. So while you're pulling that up, we also have to highlight the greatest thing in Iron Man 2 is Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer.
Yeah, he's good as whatever his name is.
Justin Hammer. It's
Yeah.
funny because he was actually one of the top contenders to play Iron Man,
yeah.
to play Tony Stark in the first film. So getting him as knockoff Tony Stark in the second is actually super fitting there.
So in the alternate ending for Iron Man 2,
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke, aka Whiplash / Crimson Dynamo mix, he never suits up in a suit.
Huh.
Never.
The Crimson Dino Bro.
He's just hanging out at the Stark Expo where everyone's freaking out, and he's just like, "Hey men, I want my bird."
He's got his vape.
He's eating something. This is kind of weird, but
Looks like whipped cream
yeah,
or ice
maybe.
cream.
Yeah, it should be whipped cream.
But this scene's actually in the movie with her talking to the cops.
Yeah, I remember that.
So yeah. Oh god, look how bad the special effects look.
How far things have come.
Well, I mean, it's also
yeah,
unfair.
This
It's all
is rough.
previs,
You could,
rough.
yeah, this is pretty much previs.
I was gonna say though, as long as you don't look at Panther.
Yeah, Panther's. I don't know. Panther's weird.
Panther looks bad and it's done.
Granted, I love Panther.
Yeah. So
I don't.
okay. So instead of attacking Iron Man with his dumb suit, he wraps his electro chains around Pepper's neck, and decides to attack her instead of going for the man with 2 suits of armor. So, probably a good idea. The previs we're watching looks like a PS1, no, PS2 maybe era video game.
With Robert Rodriguez, Spy Kids-esque.
Yeah, it looks very Spy Kids X. But
Oh my god, his back just went through his neck.
well, they used a 3D model on top of the actual
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
physical prop because that's what they did. He goes on this whole thing and he's gonna kill Pepper, take everything he wants. Blah blah blah.
First I'll break the bat, then I'll break the man.
There's a really cool there's alternate endings on YouTube. You can find it.
We just did.
There's something really cool in this scene that they didn't really introduce till I think Avengers maybe, or even Iron Man 3, that he does with his suit here.
What is it?
It's Iron Man 3. I think you first see it. He walks out of the suit.
Oh, yeah.
Right here, yeah.
He's about to do that. Which I don't think would really fit with this suit. Because, even up to Avengers with this suit, he needs to do the whole, full-on
Yeah.
suit up.
But it's one of the first times we see some kind of tech suit under the
Yeah.
actual Iron Man armor that he's wearing.
I like that we didn't see that here, because I think it fits so much better, Iron Man 3 and forward. But yeah, okay, I didn't realize that was something they were considering back in Iron Man 2.
It's so bad. I don't know, I feel like I would have liked this ending a little better, but
Yeah.
I'm sure they were like, oh, people want to see him fight Whiplash.
Yeah.
And Pepper pulls something out of her purse, which kind of reminds me of the
Car keys.
thing from Iron Man 3 that he gives the bully.
That he gives Harley to,
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, you know what it is? He uses the ex-wife missile here.
and does it actually work?
Yeah, I think so.
The
Yeah.
ex-wife actually
It's a
works.
little violent. I can see why we didn't get it.
Yeah, so they
'cause
just straight up murder.
they straight up hit Mickey Rourke with a missile when he's not in his armor.
There you go.
But where were we? We were talking about Iron Man 2. Oh yeah.
Yep.
So we're talking about Iron Man 2. Post-credit scene for that is Coulson finding Mjolnir
Yep.
in the desert.
That's right.
I still remember being in the theater. Probably not you. It probably wasn't you. I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
Definitely wasn't me.
I'm in the theater with my dad. Post-credit scene, and they see Mjolnir, and some dude just loses his mind. He goes, "It's Thor!" And he's just like screaming, and like the thunder cracks, and he goes, "Ah!" Like it's such a memorable experience
wasn't me.
in my head.
It sounds like me.
I was like, "Oh my god, this is incredible!" It's like, what? Excuse me, this is not what I put on.
Yeah. So that Thor credit scene got me real hyped.
But also at the end of Iron Man 3, you see that shield map behind Fury and Tony Stark in the last scene. And you see, like, these little dots all over the world, and you start to put two and two together.
Yeah.
You have, like, one
Wakanda.
up in, like, Nova Scotia, which is, I'm guessing, Thor. That's where he's hiding, right? He's in Canada hiding. At least at the end of Hulk, he's in Canada. And then you have Wakanda.
Atlantis.
Yeah, you have one in the middle of the
For
Atlantic.
Namor.
You have one up in, like, the polar regions.
Yep. For Cap.
For the Winter Guard.
I think there's like another one that people had a lot of questions over who it could be.
Yeah. But it's cool that a lot of like the world building happens, and like it makes sense to have it happen in the core movies, but like Iron Man being your franchise starter,
Yep.
using him as the expansion for everything. The only movie I know that does that equally as well, if not more, would be the Cap movies. Because in Winter Soldier, you get them name dropping all the important people.
Yeah.
Being Doctor Strange and a couple others. And then in Cap 3 Civil War, you get the intro of Spider-Man, everybody else. Like, they all flush in at that point.
And it's funny, like, it definitely, like, you could see where it took them time to get the right balance between what's going on in the movie and what they're setting up. And Iron Man 2, that balance was a little rough, but again, it was, the third
Wakanda
movie.
reference, that would be the farthest out actual reference to come to fruition.
Yeah.
Because we don't get that until Civil War in 2016.
Yeah, that's a full 6 years later. The only one that I think could beat it if it ever comes is if we get the cybernetic Human Torch.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
Toro?
Captain
in
America,
the
yeah.
first Cap. I mean, Thanos was first teased in 2012, but he also became an every couple years presence throughout that.
Yeah. And then, moving on to Captain America 1.
Thor,
right.
Thor was first.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Fred is ready.
That's the only movie I wanted
Fred's
to talk
taking
about.
center stage now.
Am I? So, like I said earlier, Thor was a movie I went to go see with two of my buddies instead of going to like a school function because fuck those. I remember sitting in the local theater and I had the door seat. Like, there's the aisleway that comes through the entrance to the theater. I was behind that, so I had my feet up on it. I could kind of see over the top of it. I remember loving the shit out of the movie the first time I saw it. I still love that movie, but like I see its flaws now compared to some of the other Marvel movies. But
Better than Thor 2.
it is. But having gone back now and watched it a few times, like I can see the references, I can see the world building. But Thor really works on containing itself to like trying to build its own mythos because it is that much different from the rest of Marvel. The only thing I don't like is that like later on, like we talked about this. I don't know if on other podcasts, but definitely like within this friend group. Thor builds up this thing where it's like, hey, we're part mystical, part science fiction. We're all this shit together, which is like totally true of the comics. Like
Because Thor 2, you get a lot of that like sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
With, like,
And then 3, Ragnarok, really doubles down on that.
but like they really try to like step away from the it's magic and more that it's high science fiction. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere they're like, and Doctor Strange makes magic appeal.
Yeah.
You know, I think we talked about it. I think it was the Doctor Strange one we did for the old channel.
Yeah, probably.
But let's stay on Thor.
No, I am. It just hit me now. But like then they were like, oh hey, by the way, magic does exist and like fuck everybody.
Yeah.
Like Loki's been doing it for years, but we didn't want to talk about it. But now magic's the thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they embraced it earlier, the Thor movies might have flowed a little better.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to walk that fine line.
Which, again, is what I'd say about a lot of Phase 1 is that line that they're trying to walk where they're really finding their footing.
Like they're trying to ground everything, but like it's so hard with like Iron Man is like science fiction, like in the future like humanity could attain this, and then Captain America's that callback to the past, like the golden days of American, like fucking Thor is just out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's kind of like, they don't really nail his character right.
Yeah, like he
until-
has no characterization.
If you watch his movies,
In the
though,
first one he does. I think it's the second one where he's just kind of stagnant.
Yeah, I mean, in the first one though, he plays that like, I'm strong, me dumb. Like he plays like the Hulk character if the Hulk was an embodiment into a single person.
yeah, and he also has the growth of like,
Yeah, he does.
he goes from like, you know, the Jotuns just broke in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go there, throw my hammer around.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get mad because someone calls me a princess.
Oh yeah, he definitely matures through the movies, which is nice.
And then at the end of the movie, Loki's like, I'm gonna kill them all. And Thor's like, you can't. And that's not how this works.
But
my
like,
favorite thing about the first Thor, and it's very much a Kenneth Branagh thing. I think he was the right choice to direct the first film. I love, and I think I've said this on a previous podcast, probably the
too.
Captain Marvel one. I love the Shakespearean element to the first Thor because I don't think it's something that necessarily needed to continue through the film. So I get not bringing him back beyond this first one.
Yeah.
But I really think for a Thor origin story, that was the right call.
We're watching some recap and it just said Space Vikings on screen and showed Thor, and I was like, yeah, kind of.
Oh, but before that, it was, you know, shirtless Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
That one shirtless scene that was in...
Every single movie that Thor's been in.
It's just,
Age of
attention
Ultron?
needs to be called to it.
But yeah, like so the first book, the first movie kind of takes off of the J. Michael Straczynski run of Thor, which is really cool. Like it's the same basic setup. They just change around the locations a little bit.
And it's not a post Ragnarok.
Yeah, and it's not a post Ragnarok event, but it still does a good enough job. And like, it is humorous enough that it fits in the Marvel universe. Like the I'll have another scene where he smashes the cup
Yeah.
in the diner.
Yeah.
Love that scene. Stan Lee's cameo in it where he's trying to pull Mjolnir
That's
out
one
with
of
the
my
truck.
favorite. I think in
Amazing.
Phase 1, the two best cameos are the Incredible Hulk with the soda and Thor with that.
Trying to
And
pull the hammer.
you mentioned J. Michael Straczynski. He's actually the first guy that finds the hammer.
Right.
It's a Straczynski cameo, and he tries to lift the hammer.
Also, it introduces probably one of the most wasted characters. Like,
Sif?
Dell.
No, Heimdall. Sif could get her run, but they never bring her back for the other movies. Heimdall at least comes back, and they continue to waste him with Idris Elba. But like,
He's kind of cool in 3.
Yeah, I
He
liked
is.
him in Ragnarok.
yeah, but like he still doesn't really do a whole lot.
And he
Right
gets a cool set piece in Dark World with the elf ship coming
Oh,
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good scene. But Thor 1 is like...
Thor 1 has all the potential. Like you
it's
see all the
just, they
potential.
just
in it.
spend too much time muddled on Earth,
Yeah.
and I know that's the
That's the thing.
story.
I'm
you know.
good. I'm good with that for a first film. I wish there was less of that in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the first film, that's fine with me.
The introduction to the Destroyer as well, though, I loved.
The Destroyer's cool when it comes out and destroys
Is that
the
one of
Jotun.
Stark's? I don't know. That guy doesn't tell me anything.
That's a good line. I like that line.
Oh, also, this film, it's just a very minor character, but it's our first look at Agent Sitwell,
Yes.
who runs
Logan.
through Avengers, a couple of the short films, and winds up becoming, being revealed in Winter Soldier as a Hydra agent.
yeah.
Also, I mean, I'm surprised nobody in the room's mentioned this yet. Thor is also the introduction to Hawkeye.
Yes.
Because
Yep.
they go, everybody grab your
I
guns,
slacked!
and this dude just grabs a fucking bow and arrow out of the armory.
No, what's his name? Coulson's just like... He's like, I need eyes up high with a gun. And then there's like a scene of like a character walking, and like there's just a bunch of guns on the wall. And like they reach for a gun, and then they stop and they grab a bow. I'm like, who's this motherfucker?
I saw it, and I was like, are they doing Hawkeye?
And it's a totally different bow than he winds up using in Avengers.
Oh.
and Beyond.
Not knowing who Hawkeye is,
Yeah.
I was like, maybe this is like some villain setup. Like
Yeah.
maybe there's some Asgardian who works for Shield and
Yeah.
is really good with a bow. Because I was like, that's a good pick, bow, hammer.
Yep.
And then it's fucking Jeremy Renner. I'm like, this is a Bourne guy, isn't it?
Yeah. Also, introduction to Tom Hiddleston, Loki, who will continue to come back through this series as a fan favorite.
Yep.
Another
Hopefully.
side
He didn't
character.
really steal the show in this one.
Yeah.
Though. He was just okay.
Another.
I will say, just while we're on Tom Hiddleston real quick, my favorite scene in the film is when Loki pays a visit to
To
Thor,
Thor,
while
yeah.
he's being detained by
Shield.
Shield. And
That's-
that conversation is my favorite.
That's a
moment in
callback
the
to
film.
the Ultimate Thor when everybody's like, "Yo, this motherfucker's crazy." He's got because in the Ultimate Universe he has a techno axe, like it's an EMP generating axe. It's actually Stormbreaker from the
from Infinity War.
from
Yeah.
Infinity War, but he's in a cell and they think he's talking to himself, and you get to see Loki in the glass. He never comes out of the glass,
Yeah.
but they're like, "Man, this guy is crazy."
Well, it's funny you mentioned that it has an EMP effect, is because like the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents kind of offhand mention that it's throwing off all kinds of electromagnetic like stuff that they're just like, man, this thing's fucking with us.
Speaking of Tom Hiddleston, can we digress for like 50 seconds? Taylor Swift has a countdown right now to Endgame Day.
Taylor Swift?
Yes.
She better not release anything.
That's what it sounds like she's gonna do.
She's like, here's my song.
She already has one called Endgame.
Breaking up with Captain America. I don't know.
I just mean, how stupid can you be?
But
maybe she's excited for it. I don't know.
it's just funny because like seeing Chris Hemsworth in these trailers in the original Thor movie, like he doesn't look as much like Thor, but like
those bleached eyebrows.
those
those are bad. Those are really
Yeah.
bad.
Kevin Feige will be the first one to tell you
So
that.
I'm wondering if like he grew into the role or if now the role just looks more natural on him.
What movie does the wig look really bad? Right now, Avengers is on screen. And
the only ones it was a wig was Thor and Avengers. For Dark World and Beyond, it was actual hair.
Thor, it looked really bad.
It might have been a wig in Ragnarok for the scenes where he had long hair, but with Dark World, Ultron, that was real hair.
But and just talking about recastings, this movie has one Fandral, and then he gets recast in the next movie. My boy Zach Levi.
Zach Levi.
By the way, still haven't seen that other movie that's been out yet. That I was the most excited to go see.
We've all seen it, so we can't podcast until you see it, Fred.
But
I'll try.
Thor's also, what's the end credit scene in Thor is
Selvig showing up to the S.H.I.E.L.D. facility with Fury, and it shows Loki kind of ominously influencing him, and it's the first time we see an Infinity Stone because it debuts the Tesseract.
Right.
Because Loki is interested in the Tesseract, which is a plot line that'll continue into the Avengers.
Right.
And then,
and also, just kind of to go along with the credit scene, Thor is the first of, starting with Thor and the next 4 films would all launch on Blu-ray with a short film set in continuity.
Oh, the short
Thor came with the first of those one-shots, and that was The Consultant, which did a little bit of an elaboration on the end credit scene from The Incredible Hulk with Tony and General Ross meeting, provided a little extra context to that, and showed that the U.S. military was looking for Blonsky to be part of the Avenger Initiative, and S.H.I.E.L.D. sent Tony as their consultant, the role that he earned in Iron Man 2, to go and basically piss General Ross off to the point where they would not want Blonsky and they would use Banner instead.
Yeah. So then we move on to Captain America, the first Avenger.
The first
Avenger. Or as
Avenger.
it's known in, I think, the Asian territories.
Just the first Avenger,
The first Avenger, yep.
Because can't say that.
Yeah, I can't have Captain America. It's, I just really like World War II.
Yeah.
So, and especially, like, what if World War II, and that's what this movie is.
Something like, what was the movie that just came out last year?
Overlord or like video games like Wolfenstein.
The first Hellboy does a really cool job with that kind of stuff.
Man in the High Castle.
So, yeah, Man in the High Castle. So I really enjoy Captain America 1 for that reason. I know it's not a great movie.
The biggest problem... I really like First Avenger. I think the score is fantastic. It's the first score Alan Silvestri did. Oh,
yep, keep keep going.
My biggest issue with First Avenger
is not hearing what Amanda has to say about it.
You guys ever want to listen to a podcast and hear people break up?
Biggest issue with First Avenger
over
is
Captain America.
A worthwhile reason.
Like, going from the second act to the third act, where it just does that whole montage through World War II. That just moves so fast through World War II, and I wish we got more of that. You're the big Cap fan, Amanda. What do you want to say?
Oh, I wanted to mention the score, but somebody already did that.
So talk about the score.
I love the score. I could listen to that score at night.
It's a really good score. Yeah. It's always something I wish Marvel would have done, is to keep the
character theme,
consistent like leitmotif between characters, which they kind of did in Age of Ultron. Like, there's one scene with Cap, and they're kind of playing the Alan Taylor, and then there's a scene where Thor's going after the car, and they're playing Brian Tyler did.
Brian Tyler, yeah.
He did Iron Man 3
and Dark World.
And, like, again, they also play his same Iron Man 3 score in Age of Ultron, but we're getting off track. I wish Marvel had kept, although that new trailer, that 10 years one, they do play the Cap and the Iron Man 3.
And they do use the first Avenger music in the World War II exhibit in Winter Soldier.
But, I just love it because, like, I've always liked World War II a lot.
Yep.
I always thought it was, like, interesting and just a really interesting thing for me. I liked how it's, like, it's a really good set piece of, like, him as this, like, wimpy kid who's just like, I can do this all day.
It's got
getting
Peggy
beat up in the
Carter,
alley.
who's one of the best characters in the whole universe.
Sebastian Stan's
Sebastian
introduction.
Stan, yeah.
Yeah, so, and they do go, pretty in-depth setting up the Winter Soldier throughout the film, too, with
Yeah.
when he rescues him from Zola's camp there, being strapped down to the table, and so, like, that was experimenting that was happening even before the train incident.
How about the fact it also just goes back to the roots of Marvel Comics, where they started printing during, not Marvel Comics, they were timely at the time,
Yep.
but the rise of prominence of comic books during World War II, because they were literature that was sent overseas for the GIs to read and have
Yeah.
like some semblance of home. To the point where Stan Lee, I believe, served during World War II.
Yeah, he was an artist in World War II. He was unfit for duty,
Right.
and he became an artist.
Because he tried, because he said we shouldn't be making these books for our boys overseas if we're not trying to do our best to be with them. So that was his philosophy, and I think they like even managed to like donate proceeds to like soldiers or their families at the time, not even like a modern thing. Like they were trying to do shit back then. But
I think Red Skull was, kind of one note like a lot of the Marvel villains in Phase 1, but I think he was really fun. The makeup was excellent. He was great as just, like, Nazi villain chewing the scenery with his end of the world, doomsday scenario thing.
Yeah, that moment when like they like it starts off as Hydra being Nazis,
Yeah.
and then later on like they mention it's a rogue Nazi science
Yeah.
division. So it's like they're not Nazis, and they do a 2-armed salute with fists closed,
Yeah.
which they go Hail Hydra with their arms out like Superman. I was like, I get it.
There's that great part at the start of the film where Red Skull kills Walter Frey.
Oh yeah, the Nazis like Berlin's on this map, and he's oh no, you're talking about the beginning.
The
of the
very
scene.
beginning of the
Yeah.
film.
Yeah. He walks up and he's like, the North remembers. He's like, what?
What else with First Avenger? There's some really cool.
Him knocking out Hitler is
Yeah.
the reference to the comic book cover of him
Yeah.
doing the same thing.
the Stan Lee cameo was kind of funny because I waited that whole movie to figure out where he was going to be,
Yeah.
because at that point it became the thing.
Yeah.
Like you knew about it
Yeah.
at that point. So I was sitting there waiting, and all of a sudden he's in the crowd of generals, and he's like, "What are we waiting for?"
Well, they're trying to give him.
Yeah, I
that
thought he'd
already.
be taller.
And he's like, I thought he'd be taller. I think one of the guys he's talking to is an artist or a comic book
Maybe.
writer. I think usually they do that.
Yeah.
But Cap First Avengers, like again, the Tesseract's in it, which is the first full
Yeah.
use of an Infinity Stone. At that point, I don't think people expected it to be an Infinity
No.
Stone.
Can I say one thing like about the video we're watching right now, which is a video that John put on? The fact that this clown is talking about Captain America, meanwhile he's wearing a Star Laboratory shirt.
Hey, it's a comic books, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little awkward.
Isn't it though?
Like,
yeah.
he's got the star on the shield. The Star Laboratories made the shield.
Not Howard Stark.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's a
I know they didn't, but that was like I was like, I don't know. These comic book
We have to
channels
put
are
him
kind of
down.
like these are like what is this?
That's
This is gonna
it.
be like Screen Rant, new rock stars.
I have no idea.
This is
what
that
the fuck
one-
you're talking about.
They literally cash in on the nerd hype
Oh,
for the video views.
Yes.
They're not actual genuine fans. I mean, I'm sure he is, but the people above him who wanted to
Right.
make this, they could
like he walked into the office that day and he was like,
Like, here's your script.
And he's like,
You
"What?"
got a nerdy shirt on? Perfect.
and he's just like, "No, this is my shirt."
like, you got a comic book shirt on, right? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, perfect.
You're hired, but this isn't right.
But yeah, like John was saying, it's our first time really seeing an Infinity Stone being used after the little setup in Thor.
Yeah.
Where the Tesseract, which we now know is the Space Stone, was kind of reverse engineered to become the Hydra weapons. And we also, just to link it up with some of the stuff from Howard Stark's notebook in Iron Man 2, we get some clues that the reverse engineering the Tesseract was also used to kind of create the arc reactor.
Yeah.
And the Hydra weapons, the sound that they make is actually the exact same sound effect as Iron Man's repulsors in the Iron Man films.
The Red
So
Skull
it's a-
drives a really souped up
Oh,
car.
I love Red Skull's car, man. That big, like, beefy, it's long,
Yeah.
just like the Nazi general staff cars. But he's got, like, a skull with tentacles because he's Hydra. That's still such a good scene when what's his name? Hugo
Zola?
Weaving pulls
Oh,
his
yeah.
face off.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's
I'm
like,
kind of bummed that we never got to see the painting that was being done of him.
I love that scene. Zola's like, it's a masterpiece, and the dude painting is just like, oh, and like his whole palette, he's holding it, it's
all
red.
But yeah,
I enjoy the first Avenger. I love that big bomber and the little
the super.
the big super stealth bomber that he has, and
I remember being in high school when this movie came out, as many people were, and
I left a friend's birthday party early and went to see it because I was like, this party is lame as shit, and I got me and 3 of my other friends. I was like, one of them could drive. I was like, hey, let's go see fucking Captain America. And they're like, yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. This place is lame as shit.
Yeah.
So we went.
But what was I gonna say?
And the funny thing is like kind of unrelated is, it was my best friend at the time. He was like really wimpy and puny. The kid Billy we talk about from time to time. Before he started going to the gym, he was like literally pre-surgery Captain America. So we went to see this movie, and he was like wimpy, shriveled up Billy. And we're like, we'll get there one day, pal. And now he's at the gym every day of the week, fucking looking like Chris Evans. Not as big yet, but he'll get there. But yeah, it's funny. He's literally transformed.
But it only took him a little longer.
Yeah.
But
they didn't have gamma rays. Vita rays, that's what it was.
Vita rays.
I remember some kids in high school were arguing that like, oh, Captain America uses a gun. He's not supposed to. And I'm still saying like, the dude's in World War II and he's a U.S. soldier. He's gonna use a gun.
Yeah.
And
it's
he uses
not, Batman and Superman brutally murdering people.
Yeah.
It's like
he's killing Nazis.
Yeah.
And he uses a gun in the first Avenger very briefly.
Yeah.
And
he does not use one in
I think the Avengers is the last time he uses
picks
a
up
gun.
Yeah.
Because he shoots some of the rogue anti-shield guys that possessed Hawkeye leads into the
I think they were
helicarrier.
Hydra at that point.
Probably.
What?
But what was it? Also, as we mentioned, they have Toro, the Human Torch.
I was upset we never got to see Zola in his robot body form. He was a boss in the Captain America video game, though. You fight Robot Zola.
Yeah.
And, right before he self-destructs, you see him, run off in the robot body.
Yep.
I was like, oh, fuck, maybe we will get him in a future movie. No.
They do use him in a cool way in Winter Soldier, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
I guess to wind down First Avenger, at the end of the film when he makes his sacrifice, we get the cool modern-day sequence with S.H.I.E.L.D. replicating the old SSR.
And he's like, I went to that baseball game. They're playing a baseball game on the radio. And he's like, I was at that game. I was there. And they're like, oh, fuck.
We get a cool scene with Fury interacting with Cap, introducing him to the modern world. That is some real bad green screen in that modern Times Square scene. But it's a really cool exchange between, Fury and Cap, which goes on to set up through the first Avengers and Winter Soldier that, he's basically modern day employed by S.H.I.E.L.D.
And then the post-credit scene is
a trailer. It's the very
Avengers.
first teaser for the Avengers.
And it's not even full screen. It's
No,
really
that's
weird.
right.
It's even on the DVD. It's it's like letterboxed and it's really weird.
And then, following after Thor, the first Avenger did also come with another short film on the disc. This one was A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Thor's Hammer, which bridged the gap from Iron Man 2 to Thor, showing Coulson on his way to New Mexico, stops at a convenience store to buy some donuts, as Coulson would do, and he stops an armed robbery before he, goes and discovers the hammer in New Mexico.
We do have to mention, I think Captain America 1 is the second best Captain America suit.
I might go as far as to call it the first best. I love
the buckles and the saturated not saturated, desaturated.
What would you call
colors.
the first best?
I really, really like the Age of Ultron.
That is actually
Civil
a really
War
cool modern day update of the World War II suit. You're the big Captain America fan, Amanda. So
What's the
clearly
best suit?
your favorite suit is the Avengers Captain America suit, right?
Oh God.
We're gonna have to see that again. Okay, that's digressing again.
Um,
I still really like Winter Soldier.
The
Winter Soldier.
stealth suit.
Yeah.
I have a stealth suit figure laying around somewhere that's really good. I thought it was a model kit, and when it showed up fully painted, I was like, "Oh, this is lame."
Also, the fact they include the Howling Commandos in the
Oh,
Captain
yeah.
America movie.
Yeah.
Just gonna throw that out there so
Including
they're on scene.
as we later find out, Spider-Man's future principal's grandson.
Yep.
Cool reference.
And Dum Dum Dugan.
Dum
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 Dum is the
Dugan.
best.
I would have loved to see more of the Howling Commandos. You see them in Agent Carter, right?
In the TV show, they briefly bring back Dum Dum.
Not
I
Becky.
don't remember if any of the others. I don't know.
Maybe
I
they're
kind of
cool to see
wish that they never did the Agent Carter ABC series because not that there was anything wrong with it, but she's one of my favorite characters, and I think that she would have been such a great fit for the Disney Plus series that they have going
Maybe
on
they'll
now.
bring it back.
But like now that Kevin Feige
let's
is
not talk about
actually
Disney Plus.
overseeing the shows,
Holy shit, is that the guy from
and they're
Atlantis?
directly connected, it would have been really cool to get that instead of an ABC thing. But I guess, do we move on to the Avengers now?
No, I was just saying one of the Howling Commandos looks like the French guy from the Atlantis: The Last Empire. The
Oh,
explosions
God.
guy. Boom.
I mean, they do. One more thing about costume is they have the classic big boots.
Yeah,
feather
yeah,
is
yeah.
when he's on stage,
Yeah.
which is a cool reference. Then we move on to the Avengers.
The Avengers.
The Avengers was my first ever midnight screening.
Yep.
Aw.
I think me too.
You came with me,
Children.
John, right?
Yeah.
When we had the senior field trip the very
next day.
next
We had to be at the high school, what,
so
5 a.m.?
We had to be at the high school at 5. We got out of this screening around 3. We slept for like an hour and then
Oh
went
my
to the
I didn't even sleep.
school trip. Yeah.
I didn't even sleep. I was like, me and some people were like, let's just play video games when we get home.
It was
That's what we did.
so great. I being at that midnight screening, I remember our friend Noah who came with us described it as like being at a wrestling event, the way like the crowd reacted to a lot of that.
Now, do you
and-
remember this? Do you remember the people who walked in? Every single person in their group was dressed up
Yes,
as an Avenger.
I do. I remember so many
All right, guys, that's
costumes
what we're
that
gonna do
night.
next week.
No, like they had
Have
Nick
fun.
Fury.
Yep.
They had
I still
Black
wish you were
Widow.
coming with
Yeah.
us.
They had Captain
I don't-
America.
They had basically the whole team.
They had a dude with an LED on his chest
For
carrying a red
Iron
suitcase.
Man. Yep.
See, we can do this next week. However, I'm still going with Kate Bishop.
Yeah, I'll dress up. I'll just tell you guys I did it.
Sunglasses are ready.
Yeah, because someone's not coming with us. But I mean, the Avengers was 6 years of no, like 4 or 5 years of hype
Yeah.
leading into this. Joss Whedon wrote and directed the film. I don't think any of us are huge Whedon fans.
I
But
love Firefly.
I was a big fan of Firefly through high school.
None of us are fans of Whedon.
I-
Immediately. I was a big
Big fan
fan
of
of
Whedon.
Whedon's
No, no, no.
project.
You know, I couldn't get behind what Hitler did, but like, let me tell you about this dude Adolf.
His paintings?
He's,
I
he
was-
should have stayed in art school. Whatever happened to that guy?
I was a big Whedon Firefly fan in high school, and I don't think I will ever go back and watch that show
We
because
just-
I have such fond memories of it, and I know if I go back, I'm not gonna like it.
We just equated Joss Whedon to Adolf Hitler. Which,
We also just made Tom a white supremacist.
Well,
but
hate to break it here first.
Tom,
Avengers
I'm
was
done.
like,
Goodbye.
it hasn't, in my opinion,
It hasn't aged all that well.
yes,
Neither
it's
is
still,
Galaga.
it's still good.
Yeah,
Like, it's still a good movie to
and
watch,
it's
but it
kind of
hasn't aged well.
unprecedented that it was able to bring all of these characters together and do it as well as it did. But as a film, like just as a movie beginning to end, I agree that it hasn't aged.
So, not excluding Infinity War, because Infinity War was always intended to be a two-parter. I hate to break it to all the critics that didn't get that going in, but Avengers did it right so far, because Infinity War was meant to be a two-parter, so it was going to leave off and have loose storylines.
Yeah.
But like, it did a better job than like Age of Ultron, where Age of Ultron was like trying to shoehorn in all these other
Yeah.
storylines.
Yeah.
And like, it kind of did like a comic book event almost. Like, all these other movies were going their own ways and developing their own storylines. And then the big event came out, and they're like, "Oh no! You all got to be over here for right now and make it all
Yeah.
make sense for right now, and then you'll go back to your movies. But we're gonna add storylines to you guys that you're gonna have to carry
They
on."
hadn't announced, I think they had announced Iron Man 3 at that point.
Iron Man 3, Thor, the whole basically Phase 2 had been announced with Iron Man 3, Dark World, and Captain America 2, which we didn't yet know was Winter Soldier. And then after Avengers, they confirmed it was Winter Soldier and announced Guardians and announced Ultron.
But, like, at what point did they announce the sequels?
Uh,
Not deep, like, I mean, I'm sure maybe they knew they would do sequels, but at the same time,
well,
maybe
Iron
they
Man
didn't wanna...
3 was already filming before
That's right,
Avengers
it
came
was,
out.
yeah.
But at the same point in time, like, it was its own movie. It
Yeah.
wasn't a springboard for all of Phase 2.
Right.
One thing I'm glad it doesn't do is it doesn't try to set up too much.
And it basically keeps it set up like in the shadows into credit scenes, but it's
Yeah.
very much its own story.
It's a natural...
Which is what I find problems with a lot of movies, where it's like it tries too hard to tie. Like
yeah.
Aquaman, I will say, tries
Yep.
a little too hard to get too much in and do setup.
Mhm.
And then same with Age of Ultron does the same thing, where Joss Whedon just decided he was going to throw in as many plot points as
I
possible.
think that was less Whedon and more like above his head, but there was a lot going.
Release the Whedon cut.
Who was Ike Perlmutter? That was one of the guys.
But we're gonna have fun when we get to Ultron because
that
I have so many problems with that movie.
Feige wound up.
I want to like Ultron, but I can't.
Ultron has some really great moments.
But
Like
again, we're in phase 1.
Okay. So Avengers. We finally see the team come together. I feel like
they have to do the superhero thing where they fight each other.
And it does a good job feeling like a sequel to the films that came before it. Like the Thor and Loki element feels very natural coming after the end of Thor. I mean, sure, Thor smashed, the Asgard, the Bifrost, and then, they had to come up with a dark magic thing to bring him back.
Poor
But...
Clint Barton.
Oh yeah, Hawkeye spends most of the movie possessed by Loki. Through our second Infinity Stone that we didn't know yet was the Mind Stone. So Thanos lends Loki the Mind Stone so that Loki can use it to help bring the Tesseract back to Thanos.
It almost feels like comic Clint. Almost. There's a huge difference there.
You can... to get on with the Whedon-ness stuff to it again, the whole beloved Nat Banner storyline in Ultron actually gets a fair amount of setup in here, I realized, where Nat goes to recruit the Hulk, and he's in his little hut there, and he's like, we don't always get what he wants, and he pushes the baby crib while looking at Nat, and...
Blah, blah, blah,
I don't think
blah,
that's
blah.
set up.
I don't know, I mean, he's...
I think they sent a chick to go get the Hulk, so that way he wouldn't rage out, more just have like a rage boner.
I mean, I also love the line where like Coulson calls her, and he's like, you're what do you got?
The big
You
guy.
gotta go get the big guy. And she's like, oh, Stark doesn't trust me. And he's like, oh no, I have Stark.
You have the big guy.
One thing I don't like is she's like, I guess we'll get there, but
They make her not Nat.
Whedon is not great. Whedon's Nat.
It's
not
better in
great.
the Avengers than in Ultron.
Yeah.
But,
It's
yeah.
terrible in Ultron. There's
Yeah.
no part of that is good.
You know, I saw something the other day, kind of unrelated, where someone was like, you notice that as time went on, Black Widow got less and less sexualized.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, but when you notice the movie she's most sexualized in,
Is...
probably Iron Man. I'd say Iron Man 2. Well, yeah.
Yeah, but that...
But
But
it's
then,
also
like-
a role she's playing up as
Yeah.
the secretary.
If you consider
thing
just
there.
Avengers movies, though, Whedon is like,
Yeah.
he's like, I want to make her feel strong and all this stuff, but at the same time, she's super sexualized. And she has the whole scene where she's tied to the chair
Yeah.
and the Russian's like grabbing her face and
Yeah.
like saying, "Oh, you're just a pretty face," and then later on we see her in Ultron 2 and. You know, she's like in this dress and she falls on top of Banner and she's like, "Oh, don't
And
turn green!"
then
And it's like, hide the
Whedon-
zucchini. Ha ha ha.
Whedon reused that same gag with Banner falling onto her chest in Justice League with the Flash and Wonder Woman, and
Yeah.
that's real weird doing
This
that.
is bad.
It was weird the first time, and then doing it again, the same exact gag.
Yeah,
Somebody needs to take away his writing female privileges.
yeah, because they're not great.
No.
But I think, I really like the Loki arc. I like that they don't reveal the Thanos connection until
the end,
the
yeah.
credits.
I mean, you know there's a higher power because the
Right.
other's like
The other-
blah,
The
blah,
other
blah.
was a really cool character design. I liked
Yeah.
the other a lot. And I guess the other was actually the inspiration to create the Black Order in the Infinity comic book, which, came full circle when the Black Order made it into Infinity War in Phase 3.
But Avengers at the time it was the biggest movie.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it didn't get to be highest grossing or anything like that, but everyone saw Avengers. My little sister got into the Avengers because she just went to see it with her friends, and she was like, "That was so good."
Yeah, it
And
was
then-
the Avengers that made the MCU. Everything else, Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk that first year started it. Iron Man 2 really established the shared universe, but it was the Avengers that proved that it worked. And it was the Avengers that got so many people to go back and catch up and, move forward. If the Avengers didn't work, the whole project would have been for nothing.
I think there's more fighting amongst the Avengers in Avengers than in Civil War.
Probably,
You have the three-way fight between Cap, Stark, and Thor in the woods, which is a cool scene.
Hulk versus
Thor.
Doth mother know you wearest her drapes?
That's such a good line. That's one of the best lines.
Also, when he saps him with the lightning and the suit's like at 3,000% power.
Yeah, I will say, saying with that being the best line there, I think that Tony is the character that Whedon probably writes the best.
Yeah, Tony's...
Yeah, but because he's a sarcastic douchebag.
Yeah. Tony is... when we do the Phase 3, we should definitely cover,
his
character evolutions.
Yeah, Tony and Cap especially.
They grow...
and Thor?
Grows
I'm
a lot
sorry.
too.
It's God King Thor at the end of Ragnarok over here hasn't grown for shit, right?
Oh, man.
So are we doing one after Endgame so I can just, talk
of
about
course.
Hawkeye?
So let's talk about Hawkeye here. Possessed the entire film, shooting
My poor thing.
his little USB
I like how Tom
arrow.
goes, let's talk about Hawkeye. Open to Amanda for a second. Actually, I'm going to tell you about why he's dumb.
I'm used to this.
I mean, when we do see
Guess
him...
I'm giving Amanda a ride home.
He is kind of he's like, oh, I'm angry, I'm gonna put an arrow in Loki's eye socket.
And then Thor's the one that loses an eye
Right in that film?
in that film.
Right in the Avengers.
And then there's the reference at the end where they're all standing over Hawkeye and Loki, and
Hawkeye's just dead
in his
center in
face
the
with
front.
a bow at
Well, I
full
mean,
knock.
compared to everybody else, what the fuck is Hawkeye really going to do?
not miss.
Yeah.
At that range.
I mean, he could have that explosive arrow tip again that he used the first time. We get the really great puny god moment during that end
Oh my
fight.
God.
Yeah, that's...
And it comes up again in Ragnarok when he does the same thing to Thor.
No, my favorite one, though, is when Hulk comes out in Ragnarok, and Loki's like,
Oh,
fuck, I didn't know it was him.
I mean, it's a good movie. It's Avengers 1. It's still the plot still holds up. The whole there's conflict. They have this big meltdown. They regroup. They come back and they
It's
kick
every
ass.
comic book event
And
ever.
shawarma.
And shawarma.
Shawarma.
Yeah. I guess talking about the credit scene there. First one is obviously the big Thanos reveal that.
Did you hear that? This is another thing I remember from Avengers is Thanos turns his head and someone in our theater went, "It's Red Skull."
Yep, I remember that.
And someone goes, "No, it's Thanos."
Yeah, I was so unbelievably hyped when Thanos turned his head.
I had no clue who Thanos was.
I did at that point, and that
this is a
got
big guy.
me so but yeah,
And
there was
then
that. And
another
then,
recasting. Was it Josh Brolin at that time?
No,
Nope.
there was no Brolin, and actually
it was the guy who plays Cursed in Thor 2.
Oh.
Same guy.
No, it wasn't. It was a Whedon regular guy.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure it was the
Because
guy.
Curse was I forget his name, but the guy Mr. Echo from
When we do phase 2, I'm bringing my Thor art
it
book.
was Damien
I have Dark World, the art book.
something. Damien
both of
Poulter. I forget the guy's
Guardians
name. That
ones.
was Thor.
What?
He has both of
Thanos.
the Guardians ones.
I'm
With
looking for the other Thors. They're fucking expensive.
with
Of
Thanos
course.
in the Avengers credit scene, it's actually not all CGI. It's a
Yeah, it's
prosthetic
prosthetic.
that's enhanced. So his design has definitely changed. I mean, it changed from Avengers to Guardians. In Ultron, it was basically the same as the Guardians design, and then it changed again into Infinity War.
And then there's the line that drove everyone crazy to challenge them is to court death. And everyone's
Because
like,
at that
"Yo,
point,
we're
they
getting
probably
death."
were figuring, they were going to go death, but, I get
Uh-oh.
the change that they made for Infinity War.
Mm.
And there's no, it's not ruling out that could eventually happen at some point in the future. And then second credit scene was just a little fun one that they actually filmed the night of the big LA premiere just because they had all of the cast together. So it wasn't actually in the red carpet premiere version of the film, the shawarma sequence. I guess since I've been talking about them lumped with credit scenes, there was another one shot included on the Avengers Blu-ray. This one was item 47 that dealt again with Agent Sitwell going, because, actually, real quick, I'll mention this, and then there's another big plot point we didn't cover, but Agent Sitwell, post-Battle of New York, going to recover some Chitauri technology from Benny and Benny and Claire, obviously like Bonnie and Clyde. The names come from a couple criminals that take the Chitauri weapon post Battle of New York and use it to basically rob banks and get some money. And he winds up recruiting them into S.H.I.E.L.D. at the end, but because he's Sitwell and we know now that he's Hydra, I'm guessing he recruited them into Hydra since they're criminals.
Yeah.
But seeing a focus on Sitwell after that is interesting because at this point, Coulson is dead. Loki kills
That's right.
Coulson at about the midpoint of the film when all hope is lost and the Avengers are at their weakest.
And
Hawkeye
the trading cards.
comes in. Yeah, the trading cards. That was a pretty big moment. I mean, obviously it's been undone now with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. He's come back to life, but the
Right.
Marvel TV and Marvel Studios are basically separate entities at
But
this point.
you're forgetting the biggest part. The fact we sat through the entirety of the Avengers movie with no Stan Lee cameo up until almost the ending when he
Yeah.
goes, superheroes in New York. That's ridiculous.
That's like the latest one, isn't it?
Yeah, he had a much earlier in
Well,
the film cameo. It's
yeah,
on the Blu-ray
yeah.
when they were setting up that waitress to be like a little bit of a supporting character, and Stan Lee is sitting at the cafe and he's like, "Why don't you ask her out on a date?" He says that to Steve.
Yeah, because Steve's drawing the Stark Tower.
Yep.
He's like sitting right under it drawing it.
Which that actually, I'm glad you mentioned that because after First Avenger, when we see him drawing the monkey on the unicycle, we never really get Steve sketching again after that film, and that's kind of a thing with him in the comics.
The other thing we need to mention is the fact that the Avengers is the battle for New York, which means post-Avengers is when you get all of Marvel TV. That's where they're supposed to tie in through.
Yeah.
But Feige didn't care about
No,
Marvel TV.
he didn't care about Marvel TV. He only cared about the Marvel TV insofar as like the ABC shows because ABC is owned by Disney.
Even that he didn't really.
No, he didn't really
about.
care, but he at least allowed them to do more.
Yeah.
Like he gave them like Sif and shit before she went on to do NBC
Yeah.
TV shows. The Marvel Netflix shows that should have been a bigger deal, which
Yeah.
we've talked about. We're supposed to tie in through the Battle of New York because that's where everybody gets their powers and the weird shit and all that other stuff, and they just don't.
Yeah.
So now like Jess Jones is dead, and I only use that reference specifically.
But yeah. So, like, that's, and I mean, again, it's a little off of topic for Phase 1, but I'm really looking forward to the Disney Plus shows
I'm
just
glad
because
you are,
they
because
are.
I'm absolutely not. They make me nervous.
She spoke.
I don't know. I feel like there's like hope for him.
I'm really excited. You're just not looking forward to them potentially ruining Hawkeye.
No, I'm not.
But-
She's not his student.
Nobody said they would be
Yeah,
doing
but
it.
that's what they're gonna do because there's
So who
a
is
huge
she in-
age gap. She's his equal.
Okay.
It's I'm Hawkeye, but you're also Hawkeye.
Well,
I'm
maybe.
good, but you're great.
They could do like a whole like copycat thing, where
I
there's like
just-
another Hawkeye and he's like, "Oh shit, it's you, Kate
Well,
Bishop."
Well, it's because in the
I
comic
don't
books,
trust them.
he's dead, and then she's like, well,
Ronan.
well, there's but he's legit dead, and then she's like, well, there's no Hawkeye, so like, and it's not trademarked. I'll be Hawkeye, and then he comes back from the dead, and he's like,
Again.
so that
Well,
no, for the first time, I
No,
was like that.
Cap gave her the mantle of
Right.
Hawkeye and his bow.
Yeah, and then he comes back from the dead, and he's like, well, I'll be this ninja dude for a while, and then I won't, and then I'll be Hawkeye again, and someone in the comics goes, so you're Hawkeye and you're Lady Hawkeye? And she goes, I will only be called Lady Hawkeye by the real Hawkeye. And they look at Clint and he goes, oh no, she's just Hawkeye. So there's two of them. And she's fucking fantastic in the comics. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, if
Is
they,
it June yet? Because that's what we're doing.
but like, if they do that student master bullshit,
I'm gonna be so
Yeah.
But I mean,
so angry.
I don't see any reason to think they would do it like that. I mean, they haven't really botched a character like that.
because nobody really cares about Kate
They
Bishop.
haven't really botched a character yet. I can think
You know
of a
what I mean.
couple.
I mean, like that kind of a relationship.
I can see
Remember,
them doing it
he hates
because
Joss
of the
Whedon.
age difference.
I was talking about Iron Fist.
No, I know. No, but I'm just
No, but
saying,
I'm
like,
talking actual MCU.
This is Tom, though. They haven't...
Botched. Let's see.
You know what I mean?
Like Strucker.
He's like a Sith. He only deals in absolutes.
They fucked up. I mean, I guess they did. They gave Strucker a very supporting role, but they still fucked him up.
Yeah.
Claw. They kind of killed off early.
Oh, yeah.
Claw was fantastic.
They
though.
killed him off too early.
They killed him.
Zemo,
At least he got
completely
2 movies.
different character.
Oh,
Zemo was cool.
I was
don't
hoping
mind
when
Zemo
Zemo's
different.
plot was cool. Zemo was not Zemo from the comics.
I was
But to
threatening.
backtrack to Phase 1,
Right. But to go with your argument, hey, they wouldn't change a character in the MCU,
That's true,
but they
yeah.
completely changed Zemo's character. Hence, they would totally fuck Kate Bishop.
I was so
Maybe.
excited for Zemo, man. I don't know why. Zemo,
Thank you.
I've always liked Zemo.
Yo, there was no hockey masks. I liked the fact he interrogated the former Hydra agent using waterboarding, but like,
It wasn't even waterboarding. He like I don't
drowned.
know.
He legit drowned him.
He drowned him upside down.
Yeah.
How many people like that's crazy.
Well, I mean, people can drown in any position.
I felt like they were gonna do a Thunderbolts movie. I feel like they've kind of set the groundwork.
They always could. I mean,
I think maybe.
I
they
think
should do
Suicide
that
Squad
going forward.
killed that for them.
maybe.
Yeah, but I feel like if anyone could pull it off, they could.
Right, but I don't think Marvel wants to be the guys that were like, so DC did this first, we're gonna try it.
Well, they'll let DC do it again.
Yeah.
And when DC fucks it up again, it's like, hey guys.
Well,
look
I mean,
what- look what we can do.
they also,
They
Watch
did it
how
with
it's
Spider-Man. They're like, well, let Sony make 2 bad Spider-Man movies, and they'll show them how we're done.
but like at the same point in time, they also have their group of rogues being good guys. It's just Guardians, and none of them are really bad guys. They're just morally gray.
Yeah, I mean, like you could bring back Thunderbolt Ross,
Yeah.
maybe Blonsky.
No, Thunderbolt
Having
Ross.
2 Hulk characters would be weird.
Thunderbolt Ross with the heart condition turned Red Hulk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He already has the
He's,
heart condition.
there's
No,
there's
that's
a
what I
lot
mean.
of speculation that he's already Red Hulk. Given some of his lines in Civil War.
You could do him. You could do. I'm trying to think other villains that not a lot of villains have survived.
No.
If we take a look at Phase 1,
Red Skull is Stonekeeper
Warmonger, dead.
Ironmonger. Oh yeah,
Ironmonger's
Ironmonger's dead.
Dead. Originally in the first script, he's supposed to survive.
Blonsky from Incredible Hulk and the leader.
Yeah,
both
those
still
are
out
alive.
there.
And Blonsky was referenced in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I believe.
Yeah, as being in some shield
Coulson
facility.
threatens to put someone on guard duty for
Yeah.
Blonsky. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
And then there
Thor
was
1, the Destroyer's destroyed. Loki
is dead.
Yeah, but you can rebuild the Destroyer.
That's true.
But then you do as Guardians of the Galaxy with it, which is fucking amazing.
And then Thor... Iron Man 2.
Captain America. Yeah,
Whiplash is dead. You could do Justin Hammer.
Justin Hammer.
Have him be Titanium Man or something cool.
Radioactive Man.
Uh,
I was thinking Radioactive Man, but yeah, no,
Red
Titanium Man's what I was
Skull
thinking of.
is alive, and now that the Soul Stone is taken, he doesn't really have much purpose being on Vormir.
Yeah, but I don't think he's gonna.
No,
like,
no, but he
you
was-
know what I'm going to do?
wasn't he-
Join a Grumble B-list villain.
Wasn't he tied to the stone too?
I don't know.
I feel like he was cosmically tied to the stone.
Maybe he'll come back.
And then
I don't think
in
he would even want to.
Avengers, I mean, Loki's dead. Thanos is off
Yeah.
doing his thing.
And then just the way we could even go
But
further.
what if they're gonna do a Thunderbolts thing? They could kind of merge that in Dark Avengers and bring in Norman Osborn.
Yo, if they're doing Dark Avengers, they better do fucking Siege.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
But Phase 1 in total, the best phase in my opinion. No.
It's very much them, setting the
It-
groundwork, figuring out, how to structure these films.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard to say that Phase 1 would be the best phase. Like, I can definitely see, like, oh, it's the best phase because they completely fucked up the rest of it. But for it being such a new concept, like, yeah, you've had, like, the sequel, like, movie
Yeah.
series before. The expanded movie universes, like, you've had Star Wars, Star Trek, where they have, like,
Yeah.
anthologies of movies.
But it's like those have always followed the same
Yeah.
character. It's not like Luke got a movie.
Right.
And, then,
And even when they went back and did the prequels for Star Wars, it's the same story arc. This
Yeah.
is multiple story arcs weaving in and
Yeah.
out of each other.
and
this-
that's what makes it so interesting.
this-
I
it's-
can't think of anything like it.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, yeah, it's not the best, but that's because, like, it was the baseline, and then they did a good enough job to expound upon it and do better every time they come out with new movies, to an extent, because then you get into, like, some of the later movies where they're still good, like, and it's not they're good because they're Marvel. They're good because Marvel has kept up the quality, but it's like it's not the freshest idea or it's not the best take they could have done, but it's still good enough to enjoy.
See, I don't think any movies have hit the low point. Of,
Right.
You'd say Iron Man 2 or
Thor 2.
The only other one I'd say is maybe Ultron.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but even then, Ultron has its redeeming
Yeah,
quality.
like there are movies you are like disappointed with, but there are not movies you downright.
Nothing has hit Batman. Nothing has hit DC's level.
Yeah, nothing is hit
Like,
like
a Zack Snyder DC.
Yeah.
The three in a row, like
Yeah.
1-2 knockout punch of Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Justice League.
Yeah.
That
No,
was like-
and before that was Suicide Squad.
oh yeah.
yeah,
That
like
was a 1-2-3-4. God,
Well,
they, like, had you on the
Wonder
ground.
Woman came before Justice League.
Did
And
it?
Yeah.
Wonder Woman was at least... I
Right,
liked
right,
Wonder
right.
Woman until the third act.
everybody liked Wonder Woman until the third act.
But yeah,
Everybody
it's
liked
just
Wonder Woman for the fucking No Man's Land scene.
But yeah, that nothing.
Nothing is
Marvel
abysmal.
yet to dip that low
Yeah.
in movie form.
Yeah.
TV form,
Comic
they've
form.
gone low. They
Alright.
have done Inhumans. They
So,
have done
This
Iron
is probably the
Fist.
best
I
time to
forgot
also
Inhumans
talk
was a
about it.
thing.
The Marvel movie landscape has also changed the rest of their media entirely. Like we talked about earlier, on that first Marvel Ultimate Alliance game, none of the characters you think of as Marvel characters are
Yeah.
like center
Let me look
stage.
that up so I can figure out who's on it.
But even in the comics, like a lot of like Iron Man now looks like Robert Downey Jr., acts like he does in the movies.
Yeah.
They always promote huge characters around the time of their movie launch in the comic books in the hopes that they'll get the new readers from watching the movies to go check out the books.
And they
Smart-
do the tie-in.
Yeah,
Civil War 2.
right.
Infinity Wars is the current one they just did, right?
That was not good,
Um.
but there were some interesting things that came out of it, like as Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, so I just pulled it up. This is the title. This is the cover for Ultimate Alliance. Elektra. So it's broken up into like
Little segments.
2 halves with 1 big picture and 4 smaller pictures. The top is Elektra,
Do you
and
need-
then
do you
what is
need to
that?
do it?
Blade.
Give me a moment.
Is that Blade?
Can I see it?
That's Blade.
I can't really.
That's Blade, right?
Yeah, that's Blade.
My boy Blade.
You got the Blade. It looks like the Thing, but it's a really shitty picture. Captain America. Wow, these character designs are awful.
And then Spider-Man's big front
Yeah.
and center on
You
the
got
first half.
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider.
Silver Surfer. Clearly Hugh Jackman Wolverine. Wow, that is a bad Thor.
Really bad Thor.
And Nick Fury in the bottom corner.
White Nick Fury.
White Nick Fury.
So it's cool
Because Black Nick
because
Fury is ultimate.
White Nick Fury is the guy that gives you all of your missions in the game, but you could play as Black Nick Fury interacting with White Nick Fury.
Because that's his son.
Oh yeah, because they tried to bullshit that in the
Yeah,
recent
God.
comics
Yep.
to get Samuel L. Jackson Fury.
Looking at
into
the first
universe.
characters you unlock by the looks of it. I'm looking at like a picture of
I unlocked everyone but Silver Surfer
I don't think
in
it's-
that game.
I just had the full roster. Where'd it go? There it is. Alright, so looking at... I'm not sure. I've never
Grazie.
played these games, so I don't know. But it looks like we have Hawkeye. Classic, like, red outfit Hawkeye. I think that's Black Widow. Miss Marvel, right? That's the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thunderbolt one. Ghost Rider, Daredevil, Mr. Fantastic, Storm, Thor, Invisible Woman, Power Man,
How can you
Cap,
tell she's there?
Spider-Man, Wolverine, Iron Man, Punisher, Human Torch, Elektra. He looks like the Silver Surfer, but blue. Black Panther, White Nick Fury, Spider-Woman. I don't know who that is. Maybe Nightcrawler.
Let me see. Where the fuck are you?
I don't know, who is that?
I don't know. I can't really tell. Oh, is that Gladiator? Maybe?
Is that Ronan, maybe?
Yeah, that's Ronan.
Oh, they did alternate suits like that with like Ronan as an alternate Hawkeye suit, War Machine as an alternate Iron Man.
Yeah.
But like,
It's
a
just
lot of
so
those
hard to tell
characters,
'cause
those
some
are
of those
characters
pictures are
that
bad.
like aren't really big Marvel
Yeah.
heroes anymore.
Yeah, a lot of them are, but not really. Like they're still big in the comics
Yeah.
because like Daredevil always gets like a top tier writer because why the fuck wouldn't you?
Let's talk about how right now, like, if you ask people to name Avengers, they'd have like the big 6.
Yeah.
And then, they'd be like, oh, Scarlet Witch and Vision and Black Panther
Well,
and Doctor
to be
Strange,
fair-
and you'd be like, wow.
Vision was like second string, like right after the original group, which is the original group in the movie.
Yeah.
Like they were because they were the big characters that Stan Lee created all of for the original run of the Avengers. But at the time the movie came out, the Avengers was Spider-Man, Power Man, Daredevil. It was the
Defenders.
no, it was the Ultimate event, not Ultimate, but Mighty Avengers because Civil War had already happened in the comic books
Yeah.
that shook everything up, which Iron Man was a big part of. But it also made sense, and they made Iron Man the asshole in the books.
Who was the first Avengers team was what? Iron Man?
Iron Man, Giant Man, Wasp, Cap, Hulk, Thor.
Yeah. And the first villain they fought was Loki.
Was
just like in
Loki.
the film, right?
But I think that because that had something to do with like the Stone Men of Saturn too.
Yeah.
Do you remember, like, rumors about Avengers 1? That, like, Ant-Man was going to be
Yeah,
in it?
because Whedon wanted to use, at the very least, Wasp. I don't know
Yeah.
about Ant-Man in both films.
Because I think Black Widow is supposed to be the surrogate Wasp.
Yeah. But then, like, I remember also, going back to, like, references that panned out later, is it's implied in the script for Thor 1 that Dr. Selvig
New Hank.
emails Hank Pym.
Yep.
Right.
And
That's
he knew
correct,
Banner. He
Shield.
references Banner
Yeah, he
as
references
well.
Banner as well.
And, that all makes sense because, like, with that connection there, because Banner mentions knowing Selvig and Avengers, and that whole little connection of that trio of scientists.
But overall, like we said, phase 1 is good.
Yeah.
Not the best phase. I think that's 2, in my opinion. But I don't know. I have some biases on 2.
You do.
I have Ant-Man, Iron Man 3, and Cap, Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Which are, I think, some of my favorites. But then again, phase 3 is like Spider-Man Homecoming and Civil War, which are 2 again of my favorites. But
it's
yeah.
hard to pick.
Yeah, so I guess reconvene next week to talk phase 2 and 3 before Endgame's out.
Oh yeah.
We could do that,
We'll
especially
get
because I'm
there.
on vacation.
Yeah, it's gonna be easier. Fred's on vacation.
I'm on vacation.
I'll probably have maybe
A day
I'll
off.
still have 2 days off.
I'm gonna be a ball of nerves all week. So.
Ooh, I'll ring extra alcohol.
How are people
Probably
doing
good
about
idea.
dodging spoilers? Because just so in case anyone doesn't know, spoilers are out there.
There's a
guess they're
video
pretty big.
released in South Korea, I believe, and then that video got reposted onto the internet.
I've heard they show a very big thing.
I've heard they show big things, but they don't show deaths.
Yeah, they don't show deaths.
But they have big plot
Yeah,
points.
I think our friend James said he read one of them.
There is no social media left on my phone.
Good for you. I could never do that.
It is, I believe it's a 20-minute video
Yeah.
Jesus.
But like, it does show some very
of
key
a 3-hour
moments.
movie.
If what I'm to believe, I think I read a spoiler, but I'm not believing it yet.
Right.
Or someone kind of implied it. Like they're like, here's a spoiler, and it's like not like on the wall, but it's like they show you 2 things, and you're like, and they say like something unrelated, and you go, oh, and I saw something like that, and I'm like, I'm not sure if that's actually something that happens. If it does, cool. I don't
Yeah.
think it will. I really don't.
Is everybody ready to deal with me next week?
I'll give you some like earplugs or like noise canceling headphones.
What
or
do I have to
something.
deal with?
I mean, it's the Battle of Winterfell and Endgame.
No, it is. But, like, I don't watch Game of Thrones with you guys,
That's true.
and I'm not watching the movie with you guys.
You'll just get my message.
We'll deal with it. Anyways, thank you for listening, everyone.
You're welcome.
Do we have to say anything else to say? I mean, it looks like she has something else to say.
No.
No, she wants to yell at me after we're done recording.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Yep.
But,
So I might not be here next time for the next episode, depending on how this goes.
phase 2?
Yeah,
okay.
phase 2 and phase 3. I guess we won't do. I was planning on Kingdom Come for this month. It's still a fantastic book. I suggest you guys read it because you guys have
I'm
it.
working on it.
You have all my copies.
I haven't touched it.
That's
You
fine.
see it? It's under that tank over there.
Is it? Oh, is it? Oh,
Right where I left it.
Dude, don't worry. I didn't even know it was there. You didn't
Tom's
even have to
like, Tom's like, come on. Even I read the book.
No, I actually didn't this time.
And Tom's like,
to
fuck.
quote Iron Man 1. I mean, to quote Iron Man in
Avengers
Avengers 1. Did anyone do the reading? Which is a great line for this podcast. Because that's Fred walking into the room. Did anyone do the reading?
Hey, usually I can say yes.
Well, my favorite one is in Avengers is, and that man over there is playing Galaga and thought none of us would notice.
And when you look at the Avengers 1 in whole,
Yeah,
they're shooting at aliens that are coming down.
yeah. But also, if you
They're
look at the
playing Galaga.
if you look at the background in the movie while it's happening, that dude literally is playing
He stops
Galaga.
and he goes back to playing Galaga.
No, like he's playing it, and you like when they're walking around the room, if you look at that guy, he's playing it before they mention it.
That man is playing Galaga.
But yeah, so we might not do that. Book for May, I'm not sure. I will kind of put it up for debate. I'll go through my stack of books. I'll find like a small book if we don't want to do Kingdom Come just yet.
We know June's.
What is June's?
Fraction.
Whatever she
Oh.
wants.
Yeah, Matt Fraction's Iron Fist. We already John and I talked about.
Yeah.
But yeah. So thank you for listening to this episode of the Comic Brew and Chew. We know it's kind of long. Can't believe we've been sitting here this long. Can't believe my day off's almost over. But yeah, thanks. Like, subscribe. Go to our Instagram page at Comics B and C.
_ B and C.
That's the thing. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next time. And if leave us below. What are your favorite movies
Yeah,
from Phase
let
1?
us know what your
are your
Phase 1
thoughts on
order
Phase
is.
1? Get us more comments than that happened on that Punk Rock Jesus episode. There are like 3, and 2 of them are me.
All right,
So yeah, thanks.
stay tuned.